hope you're all doing okay. I figured I would take you through just another kind of flowing, fluid vinyasa style practice. I did a video, I don't know when, I'm losing track of the days, but maybe a couple of weeks ago, where I just kind of did my own practice and called the poses. I figured that's what we would do today. So you just need a couple of blocks, your mat, a wall if you like to use a wall for some standing poses, and that is it. So we'll begin in Tadasana. Focus mainly on your breathing and shifting your weight back into your heels, coming away from this forward moving action that the rest of our lives tends to bring us into. Press down into your feet, lift up through your sides, roll your shoulders back, and lift through the crown of your head. And then bring your hands onto your hips, take your legs wide. And you can have your blocks over to your right side. As a matter of fact, I'm going to move this way a little bit so I have room. So you want a little bit of room on your right side. And we'll take Trikonasana. Taking a few breaths. Moving into Utthita Parshvakonasana. You can go a little bit wider with the leg if you need. Again, using your blocks as needed. And from here, you're going to transition into Ardha Chandrasana. So you're welcome to look down if that helps you with stability. Now you're going to take a big step back into Utthita Parshvakonasana again, and look at where your foot landed and see that you still maintain that heel to arch alignment as best you can. And then from here, we'll go back, right back to Trikonasana. And then inhale, come up. You turn your feet forward. If you're out of room, like me, you shift yourself over to the other side of your mat. Have your blocks ready on your left side. Utthita Trikonasana. Utthita Parshvakonasana. Adjusting your feet as needed. Get ready for Ardha Chandrasana. Take your time. And we'll land back down in Utthita Parshvakonasana. You may have to adjust your foot a little bit if you land in a funny spot. Make sure you have weight in your back foot and come back to Trikonasana. And then inhale and come up. Turn your feet forward and come back to Tadasana. Either feet apart or together. So I happen to be talking to all of you while I'm doing this, so I'm a little bit more out of breath than I typically would be if I were just practicing. For you, a good thing to sort of gauge is if you are getting out of breath, you may be holding your breath a little bit. So for me, I'm talking to you, I'm not breathing as much as I typically would. But just try to maintain a smooth and even breath. So for the next series of poses, you're going to have your blocks ready. I'm actually going to turn my back to you for a moment. You're going to have your blocks over on your right side again, and we'll come into Parivrtta Trikonasana. Take as many steps as you need, and you can either go to the inside of the foot, like I am here. If you feel confident, you go to the outside of the foot. And then from here, we will bring the hand definitely to the inside of the foot. Bend your front leg. So the left hand is on the floor, the right foot is on the floor, left leg is up. And I'm coming into Parivrtta Ardha Chandrasana. Come back down. Parshvottanasana. Again, using your blocks if you need. Then I'm making my way into Parivrtta Parshvakonasana. So whatever you can do of this, you'll bend your front leg. You can have the hand on the inside of the foot and turn. You can place your back knee down if you'd like. Take your time a little bit. Coming in here with the hand on the outside of the foot. Whoa. Okay, or anything in between. Back to Parshvottanasana. And then you can bring your hands onto your hips. Inhale, come up. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. So make your way, move your feet as much as you need to get your hips to face forward, to face the short edge of your mat. And you're coming into Parivrtta Trikonasana. You can try with the hand on the inside first. And then hand to the outside. And place your right hand on the floor, bend your left leg. Hand goes well on the inside of the big toe now, and a bit forward of it. Parivrtta Ardha Chandrasana. Step back, Parshvottanasana. Parivrtta Parshvakonasana. Push through the back heel. You can stay on the inside of the foot and turn. You can try going to the outside and turning. Release. Back to Parshvottanasana. And then bring your hands to your hips. Inhale and come up. Okay. And then bring your legs together. Back to Tadasana. So find your center in Tadasana. Shift your weight back into your heels. Let the breath recover. The Parivrtta poses they can be more challenging. Right? There's obviously more balance involved, and just that squeezing action, it is inherently a little bit harder to breathe because you're kind of scrunched up there. So now you separate the feet about hip distance apart and come to Uttanasana. If you need blocks, take your blocks. So this is the concave Uttanasana, where my chest is really reaching forward, head and chest forward, and then you can drop down into your full Uttanasana. And if you're up on blocks and your feet are nowhere near grabbable, your toes anyway, you just stay where you are here. Otherwise, what you'll do is come into Padangusthasana. You have the index and the middle finger clasped around the big toe, and then the thumb as well. And you bend down, reach down, let go in the crown of the head so that the neck releases. And then come back up a little bit to that concave version. And if you got there, you'll most likely be able to do Padahastasana. So now I'm stepping on my hands. If you can get your feet, your toes all the way up to the wrists, you try that. And give a good press down with the big toe mounds, the big toes, into that thumb mound there. It actually feels kind of good on the thumb joints if you can get your toes all the way up there. And then carefully release your hands. Inhale and come up. Okay. Urdhva Prasarita Ekapadasana. Which way do I want to show you this? Maybe forward is best. Okay, so first thing we'll do is come down, fingertips on the floor or on the blocks. Then you can bring your feet together. I should have done that first. Okay, bring your right leg straight up and back, and bend your elbows and reach the torso down. Come back to that more concave version, other leg. Bring your left leg up and back and reach the crown of the head down. Come back to center. Now, step your left leg back so that you're just on your toe of the back foot. Take hold of your left ankle with your right hand if you can, and clasp. The left hand goes out to the side for balance, and you bring the right leg up. If this doesn't work for you, keep both hands on the floor and repeat what we just did before. Release. We'll do the other side. Step your left foot back. The right leg can bend a little bit. Take hold of your right ankle with your left hand. Give a good clasp. Put your right hand out to the side for balance and go up. And release. Back to Uttanasana. Feet apart. And then inhale and come up. Okay, take your legs wide apart. Press Sarvapado-Tanasana. Concave. Blocks if you need. Head on the floor, or your block.
Your head can't reach the floor, you put a block under it.
Inhale, lift your head, lift your chest. Heel toe your feet in. And inhale and come up. Okay, Parigasana. Oh, I should have told you to get a blanket. Take a moment to get a blanket. If you want to put padding underneath your shins, I don't want you to hurt your knees. I have the 2 mats here, so I'm fine with this. Hopefully you've gotten your blanket if you need one. Otherwise, there's always a pause button. You can just press pause. Okay, Parigasana. I'm on my shins. The toes are pointed back. You take your right leg out to the side. Inhale the arms up. And come to the side. Almost like a little triangle pose. And breathe. Inhale, come up. Turn that outstretched leg foot forward, bring the leg back, and do the other side. Take the arms up. Exhale. Nobody's getting in this house. Feel very safe. Breathe. Inhale, come up. Turn that foot forward and bring your leg back. All right, I'll show you from the side here. So I take the thumbs, I'll show you from the back. Take the thumbs and put the thumbs down by the sacrum. They're definitely not up here on the lower back. That would add to a problem if I put them up here. So for Ustrasana, or to work in Ustrasana, you roll your shoulders back. You can roll your shoulders back a few times. Press the shoulder blades into your back chest. Lift up from the pubic bone to the navel and arc back. Inhale, come up. Arc back, breathe. Inhale, come up. So you see where my hands are? When I go back, I feel the buttock muscles working, and you should too. Okay, so the muscles in the hamstrings and the buttocks, they're not just hanging out there. As you go back, there should be more of a firmness coming there. And up. Breathe. Press down your feet, your shins, arc back. Inhale, come up. Now a thing that you can do, if you don't have a bolster, is you can tuck your toes underneath, and you give yourself that much more height to get to your feet. So you can certainly stay like this. The shins on the floor is definitely easier on the knees, okay? But if I want to hold my heels, it just makes it a little bit more accessible there. Inhale, come up, and you can try getting to your heels like this with the tops of the feet on the floor. Okay, if that doesn't work, do one of the other versions. And when you inhale to come up, you do it in one swell foop. You don't twist and turn to come up. All right, so one more time. Inhale, exhale, go back. Breathe, shoulder blades into the back. Push up. Okay, and then from there, make your way into a nice, soft Adho Mukha Virasana. I have my knees fairly close together so that the lower back gets more convex. If you take your legs wide, some of you that are flexible, and let your chest fall through your legs, you're not going to get really what we want. You're not going to get the roundness out of this pose. Block under the head if needed. And you can actually let your arms rest here. And just breathe into the lower back. Breathe into the middle back. And then make your way to a seated position. Let's get our blocks and make a little platform. Now, if you need your platform to be higher than this for Bardvajasana, you go get some other stuff. Okay, if you really don't have other stuff, you could probably put your 2 blocks like that. It is a little bit unstable. I'd rather you get other stuff if you have it. But if you need to do that, that's what you do. Okay, your feet are going to be over to the left. And inhale the arms out to the sides. Keep the chest open. Exhale, turn to your right. And I just have my back hand here just catching on the corner of the block to give me a little bit of leverage. Move with your breath. Let the twist evolve with your breath. And turn your head the opposite way. Come back to center. And you can try getting your feet on the other side over like that. Okay, arms to the sides. Open the chest. Exhale, turn to your left. And then turn the head the opposite way. And release. You can take these away. Actually, if you need them, sit on them. Your hamstrings are tight and you have a hard time straightening out the legs like this. You can sit on your blocks or even in a chair or something if you have it nearby. Arms up, exhale, Paschimottanasana. Move with your breath. Inhale, lift your head, lift your chest, come up. Janu Shirshasana, bend your right leg. Inhale the arms out, exhale. Inhale, come up, Janu Shirshasana, second side. Inhale, make your way up. Paschimottanasana once again. Inhale, come up. Okay, going to lie on your back. The legs bent, feet on the floor. Just let the spine settle. Let the muscles around the spine settle. Let the abdomen relax. Few breaths here. And now take your right leg, your ankle, cross it over your left thigh. That's what that's called, it's your thigh. And then bring that in toward your chest. Interlace your fingers behind that left leg and draw the leg in. And then release, second side. Just a simple piriformis stretch. Other side. And release. Now some of you can repeat just what we did. Others are going to be able to come into Padmasana. So you can just try one leg in Padmasana. Okay, if you can't get both legs in, don't worry. If you can't get one leg in, don't worry about that either. Just do the piriformis stretch. Now for me, this is where I'm at here. This makes my back feel pretty happy. I hold on to my knees and it's almost like I'm sitting, if there were a floor right here, this is where I'd be sitting. For some of you, you can take your knees, you know who you are, and bring them toward the floor without getting a big back arch. Okay, or you just go as far as you can without putting yourself into a back bend. Padmasana happens to be very good for your sacrum. Okay, and around the SI joints, it causes creates a lot of space and opening there. Of course, if your knees and ankles and hips aren't happy with it, then you don't do it. Okay, or you just do part of it. And breathe here. See how your abdomen and the pelvic area responds to this. And then carefully release your legs. Don't just flip your legs out of this. Just carefully release. And just open up the back of the knees a little bit. And then you can do the other side. You see how I bring the leg toward me? And then I underhanded, bring it here. Bring the other leg in. You can bring your legs toward the floor, or if you're doing the piriformis stretch, you stay with that. Or one leg in Padmasana. wherever you are, just breathe. And whatever you can do is what we do. Our practice should be simple, right? So we're not always aspiring for something or trying to attain or achieve. It's just like be with this moment. And the beauty of this moment and the beauty of this pose and whatever pose you're in, even if you don't think it's aesthetically beautiful, right? Just be and breathe. And be as present as you can. And that's all we can do, right? So carefully come out. Come out. Open up the back of the knees. Place your legs on the floor. Take your arms to the sides. And now you're going to take Vrikshasana. I'll show you with this leg. You're going to take a tree pose. Just with one leg. Doesn't really matter which leg it is. The other leg is straight and it's relaxed. You're not trying to keep this straight leg really in Tadasana. Just let this hip fall open. And then switch your legs. And bring that leg up. And now, what you're going to do, this is easier for some than it is for others. I am doing the opposite now of Baddha Konasana. Baddha Konasana is here, right? It's here, the legs are externally rotated. There's a stretch in the inner thighs. What you're doing now is the opposite. So the feet are wide and the thighs are resting toward each other. And just see how your lower back responds to this. Deep breaths. And then come to neutral. Right, you can walk your feet back in toward each other. And if you happen to be near a wall, you can take your legs up the wall. Otherwise, a regular Shavasana is fine. And if you're by your wall or at your wall, take your legs wide. Shoo, excuse me. And then you can take one leg, Baddha Konasana, doesn't matter which one. The other leg will most likely fall more down to the side because there's less restriction there. And then you can switch. Other leg, Baddha Konasana. Other leg straight. And then both legs in Baddha Konasana.
Bring your knees toward each other. Stretch both legs straight up the wall again. And I have my hands on my belly here. I'm just feeling the breath moving. Exhale completely. And then take a nice deep inhale. And you can bend your legs, bring your feet down the wall a little bit. Take your arm overhead and roll over onto your side. Pause. And then go ahead and make your way up.
All right, my friends and family, I'll talk with you soon.